Next up, Roberto Leyva, former titleist in the minimum weight division, against Simpiwe Vetyeka, South African, our second South African fighter to make air tonight. Now there is Leyva, now 31 years old, fighting at 125 pounds. He was a titleist, the IBF minimum weight title back in 2001. That was back at 104 pounds for that fight, now 125. He's now 27-12-1 at age 31. And Simpiwe Vetyeka, who had 120 amateur fights, comes from a small village in South Africa, now 21-1 as a pro. He is 30 years old. And interesting with this fight, Teddy, because it was contracted at 118 pounds, and both guys completely disregarded the scale entirely. So they came to an agreement that, all right, we're going to fight it at 125 with no penalties to the purse. So Leyva at 125, Vetyeka at 121.
Yeah, fight was supposed to be, like you said, 118. Leyva came in at 125.6, and
Gentlemen, you've already received your instructions.
Came in at 120.6. Both heavy, as you said, and both camps agreed to make the new weight 123 pounds.
Roberto Leyva comes from Mexico. His dad was a fisherman who was lost at sea when Roberto was just 14 years old. When he won the IBF minimum weight title in 2001, he took the belt and he threw it into the ocean as a tribute to his late father.
Leyva coming out as a southpaw. Vetyeka will have to figure that out. I don't know if it'll be difficult to figure it out with Leyva, who's lost 6 of his last 7 and 4 of them by knockout.
Vetyeka did good work with that left hand.
The body of Leyva looks a little sore. Vetyeka might want to go downstairs and test it a little bit.
Punches up. Fight.
Most of the fights for Leyva in Mexico. He's a former IBF strawweight world champion at 104 pounds. As you said, you know, neither one of these fighters really showed the discipline to make their contracted weight, and they both have to travel a long way to get here.
Boy, Vetyeka seems very heavy-handed, doesn't he?
Well, he's picking the right place to put those heavy hands, for the most part, downstairs to the heavy body of Leyva.
Well, this is fun tonight, Teddy, to see a couple of these South Africans who we've never seen before. We were impressed by Isaac Shalamba in our opening bout. He won an entertaining unanimous decision against Vlasov. And Vetyeka, who we see here, who's impressing early here in round number 1, his lone career loss is to Hazumi Hasegawa. Hasegawa, who has a piece of the featherweight crown, WBC champion. That's who Juan Carlos Burgos has his lone loss to.
His history has been all except one fight in South Africa. This is his first fight in the U.S. As you just said, the one fight he fought outside South Africa represents his only loss.
Yep, fought Hasegawa in Japan, as did Burgos.
Leyva better not stay on those ropes. He already tasted a little leather to the body, and I don't know how much of it he's going to want to be able to, or he can stand. Leyva's a smaller man. Many of his fights at and around 105 pounds, while Vetyeka has never been below 115, and he's been as big as 125. So if I'm Leyva, I want to stay off those ropes and not invite an inside attack by Vetyeka.
That right uppercut was well timed as Leyva came forward. Vetyeka scored well. A good start to the night for the South African, coming to the end of round number 1, scheduled for 6 here on Friday Night Fights in Tulsa.
Time.
You know, this is another example of what I was talking about to Brian Kenny about with Donaire. It's not the power of the punch, it's the delivery of the punch. You saw right there, Vetyeka takes a little step back, invites a mistake from Leyva, and then he closes the hole with the straight right hand. It's the delivery. The power means nothing without the delivery, and that's why what Donaire did was so sensational and so eye-catching, so effective. It was the delivery, the perfect timing, the perfect setup.
Round number 2 here. Vetyeka and Leyva, and you see the big power numbers for the South African. Simpiwe Vetyeka, 44 out of 81.
You know, Joe, if I was in the corner of Vetyeka, he probably doesn't need to hear me because he was doing a good job himself, but I would probably concentrate on 2 or 3 things, and what they would be close to the same neighborhood. Use your jab to get Leyva where you want to get him, and then go to the body and uppercuts. That's all I would concentrate on. Leyva gives you the body, he's stationary, he doesn't use his legs too much, and he leans forward for that uppercut. The only thing I might sprinkle in there a little bit is remind Vetyeka, keep your range, don't get smothered. Move your feet when you have to so you can get leverage and punching room. I like the way he moves his feet to get the room for that punch.
Reminder, college basketball this weekend. Of course, ESPN the home to college basketball. Saturday night primetime game is going to be #1 Duke versus Virginia Tech. That's a 9 p.m. start for the Blue Devils and the Hokies.
You know, I mentioned that Leyva lost 6 of his last 7 4 by knockout. Going by their recent history, I mean, this is supposed to be an easy win for Vetyeka, and if he's really going to be thought of as a top contender, I think that he probably needs it to be a dominant win, an impressive win.
He'd be contending as a bantamweight. You can disregard the weights that they're fighting at here tonight, but you know, Teddy, these lower weight classes are really serving the sport much better than they have in years past. And obviously, I think they're getting some attention because of the paucity of fights that we have in the heavyweight division, as you well know. But you see what Donaire did this weekend. You see the potential for guys like Juan Manuel Lopez and Yuri Orcus Gamboa. And we got a clash of heads there.
Okay, watch your hands. Watch your hands.
But it's nice to see these lower weight classes getting some attention because there's some very talented fighters out there, and globally there is.
No, I agree with you. I think the people always have appreciated the smaller guys because they always say, hey, you know they're going to be in shape, you know you're going to get action, they're going to throw punches, and they're going to know their craft. They have to have good technique. When you go fishing, you know there's certain parts of the pond where the fish are. Well, right now, Vetyeka knows where the fish are. And you saw he looked to catch one with that uppercut just a moment ago. He just knows in those parts of the pond that Leyva's going to lean forward a little bit. And the hook, well, it's not a hook. It's the uppercut. Just missed.
Well, you see the back of Leyva's trunks. It says Mako. That says in Mako Shark. His dad was a fisherman who would go out after those Mako sharks. So your analogy hits home there. Let's see if Vetyeka can land it.
What a wonderful son Leyva is, and the thought of the story that you talked about. His father passes away, lost at sea as a fisherman when Leyva is only 14 years old, and then Leyva wins the IBF strawweight title, and he throws it into the Pacific Ocean, the South Pacific Ocean, as a tribute to his dad. That love never ends. Life ends, but love endures.
It's a right hand to the body from Vetyeka.
Right now, Leyva just existing on heart and experience. Trying to survive right now. And again, you know, this is a fight that's an important fight for Vetyeka. As I said, he wants to really be respected and thought of as a true contender, I think he needs to do more than just get an ordinary win. He needs to put a stamp on this win, and you wonder why did he come in heavy if he understood that. He came in the heaviest weight he's been at in over 8 years, and Leyva came in the heaviest weight of his career. Good body shot there by Leyva. I see too much bouncing around by Vetyeka, just wasted motion. Settle down. You got a guy in front of you who's a smaller guy.
There's that uppercut.
Yeah, just settle down.
And then a good body shot. Oh, a piercing body blow just crumbles Leyva.
Well, that's what he should have been concentrating on.
7, 8, 9, 10. Fight's over.
And that's what we were talking about, Joe. He didn't need to bounce around. Just settle down, go to work, and get the result that was there to be gotten with this particular opponent who's lost 6 of his last 7 and 4 by knockout. Inside, go to the body, and look for uppercuts. And you got to be set to do that. And Vetyeka did it.
Talk about hitting that button, hitting that perfect target. That'll just finish things. That's what that body shot did.
Take a look at the finishing work by Vetyeka. And again, he settled down a little bit. It was there for him. You saw it in the first 2 rounds, and here it is. He's on the inside. Right hand, he comes back with the left hook underneath. Perfect spot. Right in that liver area. The right hand sets it up. Watch, the right hand doesn't land good, but it puts his body in position on the left side to come back with that left hook. That's all about technique, and it was good technique.
Well placed, just getting underneath that elbow.
You know what I like about Vetyeka? I don't like that he came in heavy. I know he had a long way to travel. And I didn't like the way he was bouncing at the beginning. And he had a perfect opponent. But I like the way he finished. And I like that he knows technically how to fight. He has pretty good skill sets, good tools. But technically, pretty solid. Can box a little on the outside. And as he just showed, he can fight a little on the inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes, 32 seconds of round number 3. Our referee in charge, Gerald Ritter, reaches the count of 10. Your winner by way of knockout, Simpiwe Vetyeka.
Good night for the South Africans. Chilemba came up with the big win, and Vetyeka was impressive with a body shot. Knockout, 3rd round, 22-1 with 12 KOs now in his career.